here we are for our tackle shop tour at Watson's Marine right here in Bluff City, Tennessee. Only about 10 minutes off of Interstate 81 over here in East Tennessee. Man, this place had a crazy thing happen a few years back. The whole showroom burnt down. It was a crazy, terrible deal, but they've rebuilt it. The place is spick and span, and it is loaded with tackle. Let's go check this place out. Here we are inside of the showroom. You take one look to the left and all you see is brand new bass boats. They are a big Ranger, Triton, Vexus, and Phoenix dealer. And I think they're getting ready to pick up Camus boats as well. So they're gonna have all kind of different boats. They sell a ton of them. And as you can see on the wall over there, a lot of big game in here. The owner, Aaron, he is a big game hunter. A lot of elk and moose, pretty cool. And you get to eat those when they have their big open house in the spring. But over here on this side, this is where all the tackle is. This is gonna take a while. They got a lot of cool stuff. I've gotta show you a bunch of it. Of course, they got a lot of good rain gear right here. They got Sims and a bunch of different hoodies, some clothes, got some hats and accessories over there, gloves, but just check out all these different rods, man. They got a hell of a selection of G. Loomis and Daiwa and Abu Garcia. All that's right here on the outside. I mean, they've got about 6 different brands, 6 different models. Just immediately looking at Daiwa, bunch of different Daiwa. They got St. Croix rods over there, Fenwick. They've got some 13 rods, more Abu Garcia. As you come down here a little bit further, they've got some power rods. They've got a bunch of Dobbins rods over there. They've got a bunch of Lew's rods. Man, just all kind of, and over there they had some Doomsday tackle rods. Of course, David Mullins lives right down the road. You know they're gonna have some Doomsday tackle, but I mean, just a heck of a rod selection. Whatever you're looking for, they probably got it over here. Enigma, see those over there. And then you turn this way, and they have got whatever flavor line that I think you could ever want. They've got, you know, good amount of Seaguar and Trilene. They got a great amount of Sunline, a bunch of different ones. They kind of got them all broken up. Some Suffix, Gamma. There's some Sunline Mono. You know, you got your Sigline. That's a new great price braid from Sunline. You got your J braid. I mean, just a good selection of line right there. All your different rod and reel accessories. And then you got some different tackle boxes. Got some good Bass Mafia boxes here. Got some of those, a spinnerbait box, some of the other stuff. And as I mentioned, big game hunter. Got all that kind of stuff over here.
I'm gonna guess probably.
And we're gonna slide by the parts counter.
And we put a dual pro back in it, not a Minn Kota.
Over here you got, you know, your different accessories for all your soft plastics. You got some G-Juice. You got your, you know, wacky rig tool and that kind of stuff, and then you go right into a lot of the terminal tackle is right here. You got this, you know, this is a locally made DNC custom baits. They got a bunch of different DNC custom baits here, but this is the custom spinning A-rig. You got all these DNC heads. They got a bunch of different shapes. They got that little guppy looking head. They got the guppy with the spinner on it. I mean, just a lot of unique stuff that you don't see in a lot of tackle shops. And we're gonna just keep going through here. They got the big Tennessee River trimmer head. That's a big deal for, you know, Douglas and some of these lakes around here. Those big scroungers. Demiki rig in the wintertime is a big deal. Of course, they got the Demiki. They've got a bunch of different Demiki type heads. They got the actual Demiki ones here. I got some more. This Z-Do. This guy makes some cool stuff here. They got the little that Erie darter type head. He's got a little swim bait with a spring lock on it. Everything from little teeny sizes up to really big sizes, and just all kind of stuff. Swim bait. more swim bait heads, more swim bait heads. They got the J-wheel heads, and then you got more your treble hooks right here, all different brands. Of course, they have Gamakatsu, which you better have. The VMC, the Nico skirt, new little deal. That's pretty trick. Then you got a bunch of different weights. You got your tungsten, and your Strike King Reigns, Eco Pro, bunch of your Ned head deal here, more terminal, shaky heads. I mean, swim bait hooks, regular hooks, good selection of Gamakatsu, good selection of the Berkeley Fusion hooks. Man, just got all kind of stuff. And then you look over here, they got good selection of Lucky Craft, a bunch of different jerk baits there, and a bunch of different Megabass 110s, 110 pluses, the 110 juniors. They got some of the Cliff Pace, Black Label Balsa. That's a good looking crankbait right there. And then right over here, you got some Jackal stuff right here, and then you got the Ploppin' P from PH Lures. Old Phil Hunt got some the Chop Cut, some of the newer Jackal baits as well. And then you got some more PH crankbaits right there. Those are handmade balsa baits. Got a good different selection of those. And then you get into the Spro. You got everything from the rock crawlers. You got the Super DD90. Got the big, I know a guy that designed that. He's a good designer sometimes. That thing gets down there about 24 feet. Got Little Johns, rock crawlers. Those things are hot as a firecracker. And of course the DTs, DT6s. I'm sure those, all the empty pegs are probably DT6s. Those things are hot as well. And then you got some Spro mixed sticks. Really, really, really good cold water jerkbait. And you got some Rapala baits, and you got a whole bunch of CP series crankbaits. You don't see these in a lot of places. CP stands for Craig Powers. Craig Powers makes every one of these by hand. He's got 3 different models that I know of, and then I mean they're just handmade, flat-sided balsa baits. He hand makes and hand paints every one of them, and they've got a great selection of those here. And then, as you come down here, some topwater baits. You got some Vixens in here, which you don't see a lot of places, and some various. This is more striper right here, a few ploppers, some evergreen topwater baits. As you move over here to this side, you got a good selection of your lower end Berkeley hard baits. You got all kind of different colors, shapes, sizes. Old David Fritz designed most of those, so that's all I need to say about them. But you got frogs over here. Got all kind of different stuff. You got your Gavacho frog from Jackal. You got the Scum frog. You got the Reaction Innovations frog right here. A swamp donkey. That thing's been around for a while, but they went for a time where they didn't have any, and they actually have a few of them here. They're hard to find as well. You got the Sprinkler frog, some toads. And then from here all the way up to there, nothing but swim baits. I mean, everything from your big boot tail type, your Rage swimmers, Savage gear, you got your Jackal swim baits. Of course, you're gonna have your missile. You're gonna have your shockwaves. Those are a specialty on the Alabama rig or the umbrella rig around here. And then, going up, oh, here's the Scottsboro tackle. They hand make every one of these down in Scottsboro, Alabama. Very good swim bait there. And you got more Demiki, the armor shad. You got a bunch of Kitex up there. Bass Munitions. This is a relatively local company. They got some more, I think, in another area. But these are just the swim baits that they make. Just a little twist on the swim baits. I mean, all kinds there. And then they've got all the Strike King hard baits that you could want. Everything from the 10XD all the way down to the square bills into the red eye shad. Red eye shad's it's a must-have lipless bait, and you got the big square bills, and then we go into the one knockers from all the lipless baits from Booyah. Got some DD22s. Got to have that kind of stuff. Good bandit selection. Bandit crankbaits have been around forever, and if you've been bass fishing in the last year or two, you may not have thrown them, but if you were bass fishing like 20 years ago, I promise you probably caught some fish on a bandit crankbait. And then we're just going to jump back to this back wall here. Got some different Berkeley hard baits here. You got to have your Zara spooks and your pop bars for sure. Good whopper plopper selection, must have. Got some, and then we got some the showboat lures here. Locally made spinnerbait, pretty cool. They got all kind of different action. These look like the nighttime ones with the big thumping blade on there. Got the rattlehead, same deal. The big thumping blades on there. And then you got a good selection of robo worm for light line stuff. and we'll get to the other stuff here in a few minutes. But then here you go. Here's some more handmade spinner baits. This is the kind of stuff I love. And got a big old meat hook in this thing. And then, I mean, this is like got to be at least a 3/4. That may be a 1 ounce spinner bait. Nighttime fishing deep. You got all kind of different spinner baits to choose from. Got even bucktail versions. I mean, just really cool. You know, you got your primal spins from Fish Head, your Booyah, and they got the new Sling Blade from Z-Man. That's a good selection of those. Good selection of hog collar as well, and War Eagle. Got to have those. Jackhammers. They have a good selection of jackhammers. Not everywhere has a good selection of them. Some people just only have a few pegs and a bunch of empty pegs. But then you got some Demiki buzz baits, lunker lure. You got to have your lunker lure if you have buzz baits. Showboat lures, more of that local brand. Greenfish tackle makes a good buzz bait, and that's that one right there. The hammerhead, it hits the firecracker buzz bait as well. And then you get into the spoon section. This is where the big boys eat in the spoons. They got everything from your big Magnum flutter spoons down to your little wintertime vertical type spoons, and you got the Watson, James Watson, no relation to Watson's Marine, James Watson's spoon jack and spoon there. Got that, and then you got a whole bunch of different Boss type jigs right here, jig heads. If you like to kind of make up your own deal, this is a great place to do that. They've got all your components, all your do it hooks, your spinnerbait blades, and then you got all these different skirt tabs that you can choose from, and all these do it accessories up there. And you got all your powder paints down there, and your hackle feather and that stuff. I mean, you can make up whatever kind of jig, spinnerbait, buzzbait that you want using all this material right here. So again, tackle junkies, this is your kind of place. And then as we'll flip to the other side, we went down through some of the spinnerbaits. I'm gonna show you some of the jigs real quick. You got this, just a typical Arky style jig with a wire weed guard from DNC Tackle. This is just local brand materials here that I love. I love this. DNL that's a pretty regional brand right there, but they have a good selection of DNL. You don't see that in a lot of places. The tungsten football from Picasso. You got your Jordan Lee comeback jig, Sandtone football jig. You got Jewel, some more DNL, good selection of that. Few dirty jigs. Z-Man got some the cross-eye flipping jig and the swim jig. And then you just got a few Strike King and V&M. So man, of course they're gonna have some. That's the Jenko, the Big Wig, the hair jig. That's a good hair jig, by the way. Got all. They got so much tackle in here. We got 2 more aisles to go. We're gonna flip right on around here. And then they got a good selection of Berkeley power bait. Kind of a little bit of everything. Definitely got the power worms, got the chigger craws, those kind of standard issue. Got a good max scent selection, good for the old schmally mouths. And then in this area, especially East Tennessee, you're going to have a lot of these being sold. This is the smelt colored 3-inch gulp minnow. They put that on a little jig head and they tight line that thing around. So you hear guys talking about tight lining a gulp minnow, that's what they're talking about, and that's why they have so many of them. And then, going on down the line here, got a bunch more power bait. And then they got, some Strike King Rage Tail craws over there. And we're just gonna keep going down this way and come back. Then they got some of the Mismo tubes and Dry Creek. Dry Creek makes a real good little tube, especially if there's smallmouth and creek fishing. Those Dry Creeks are real good. And then here's more of that Bass Munitions I was telling you about. They have some different type designs. Got hand makes them in his garage, not too far from here. So that's the Bass Munitions right there. And then switch over here to this side. Got a little selection of Guggen baits. Got some of those in here. Daiwa soft plastics. Got your Nico rig type stuff. And then the Gary Yamamoto section. Got to have your Senkos. Got a few hula grubs, single tail grubs, shad shaped worm. Then they have a good selection here also of Reaction Innovations. Everything from the petite twirt to the flirt worm. Got a good selection of sweet beavers, pocket rockets, and the shiver shot. Like a lot of guys use that on that little Demiki head too. Got some yum in here. And then you got the meat section over here. And as you can see, been beat up a little bit in here. Got some drop craws that match up well with a micro jig. And then you got D-bombs, destroyers, baby destroyers. The 48 is in here. Bomb shot's been beat up. Little drop shot bait, and they've got the new Ned bomb. Just got these in. Got the Ned bomb, everything from your PBJ, green pumpkin flash, green pumpkin. Obviously, those things are going to be hot as firecracker. I'm surprised nobody knows that they're here yet. And then you got V&M soft plastics. Got a couple different baits with that. You got these are the Damiki shads. This is the bait that actually started it, all that Damiki deal. Not necessarily this color, it's a good color, but that little 3-inch deal, putting it on that head and just kind of slowly fishing it over top. We kind of, Elite Series exposed that when we came to Cherokee. But Damiki's got some other good baits too. They got the air crawl and that little Hydra thing that they have in the Yami fish from Jackal. And then this is Best Munitions make a little deeper belly version of that kind of that Damiki type, that little worm. Works pretty good. Swing on around here. They got a good selection of Z-Man. I mean, TRD's been red hot. Everything from the finesse to the big one to the crawl to the hog Z. I mean, you name it. They got that in the Z-Man. But then everything else on both sides here, zoom, 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 zoom. I mean, you know, all the jig trailers that you need right through there. Then you come down through here and you got your grubs, big grub area. You get your baby brush hogs, old schoolers right there. A whole bunch of different baby brush hogs and brush hogs. And then you got your big worms and your ultra vibe worms on this side. All down through here. A bunch of different colors. Seen a few colors. You know, they jumped on that new, if I can find it, jumped on that new Bourbon Blaze color. You know, that new, they got that in a bunch of different shapes here. That's a new color from Zoom. And then, you know, got a bunch of your standard colors. But here's one, call that Spanish Crawl. It's kind of red with never seen that color before. One of them things you find when you come to a tackle shop like this that is just loaded with good tackle. And as you just going down through here, Magnum Swamp Crawler, great Nico rig bait, good selection of flukes, as you've got to have. Some Doomsday tackle here, HR tackle, and this is like that big trimmer head that we saw. This is what those guys put on it, that big jerky J. They put that big jerky J on that big 1-ounce head for fishing on the Tennessee River or Douglas, places like that. Got some net bait as well. Then you got a few other various brands through here. You got some Jackal, various Jackal, and then you got some River Rock Customs. That guy makes a good tube as well. And then you got your Doomsday tackle, baby. They got that Roku, man. Old Mullins catches the fire out of him on that thing. Man, I mean, we haven't even hit the reels. We did the rods, but I got to show you all the reels that they've got up here, man. They've got a whole reel counter full with great brands, and this is where all the BS happens up here at this counter, I promise. As we go back up to the reel counter, look at the size of this fish tank, man. They have got this massive fish tank. They've only got a few bluegill in there right now, but what they do is they'll swap fish in and out. They'll bring in a couple largemouth, a spot and a largemouth, smallmouth and a largemouth. You never know what's going to be in that tank when you come in here. I've seen big smallmouth in there. I've seen big largemouth. So they leave them in there for a little while and then put them back. They don't want to keep them in there too long, but that's a really, really neat deal. But over here, before we get going on all the new stuff, they've got a whole section here of used reels. Sometimes you can find just what you want. Like I see there's an old Ambassador right there. I know some guys that really like that kind of reel. Old Daiwa, old Bass Pro reel. So whatever you're looking for, old wide, you might want to check that out as well. And they may take you up on your own. Costa Del Mar sunglasses, and then we start into the Daiwa, into the new stuff. Everything from your Tattulas, Fuegos, your SVs, and then your spinning reels, your Tattulas, Fuegos, ballistics. That's a hot spinning reel. Got a bunch of Abu Garcia reels up here. Everything from your 10-to-1 Revo Rockets, Revo SDX. Just gonna keep rolling around. How you doing? All right. All kind of Lew's reels over here. I mean, just a whole bunch of different Lew's, all you want. And then I've got a few Shimano's over here. These things have been kind of hard to come by. Got some Stratic CF4 Pluses, very good reel. Metaniums, very good reel. Got a couple of those in my boat, but man, here we are. Watson's Marine. Again, if you're looking for a new boat, which they sell a whole bunch of, or you want some brand new tackle or some very unique tackle that's just in this area, stop by Watson's Marine. Look for Rex, or the owner is Aaron, and the whole staff here is all in on bass fishing. They know exactly what's going on. They can tell you all the latest techniques and the latest baits. So don't miss Watson's Marine.